Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM and ArrowFM. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Yo.
I'm going to start off Raw with a very special discussion point, and that's Kurt Hawkins. Almost.
Hey. Well, if there was ever a chance for him to win, actually break it, it's against a random local jobber.
How... so close. So close. Really rooting for Kurt Hawkins, man. It just seems to never go his way. Obviously his match getting interfered with by the new Constable of Raw.
Oh, I had a lot of fun with this segment.
I, I've got nothing.
I, Hey, at least they're doing something different with Baron Corbin, and I enjoyed what they did. I think this is going to be an interesting way to play out. See what they do, and worst comes to worst, it's just something for Baron Corbin to do while they figure out what for him to actually be able to do.
Yeah, I
But
like that he's being featured. I guess is the main point. Whatever role that happens to be in.
he gets to just have some fun, and I think that showed during the segment with Hawkins, and then later on in the night when he got to get on the case of Kurt.
It, he seems like he's going to be the perfect guy for this sort of role, where he's essentially just a big, censoring myself, knob to everybody on the show. But he's a legally justified knob by being appointed that role. See, I look forward to seeing what happens, and I'm gonna hope, as well as two of the guys I'm behind, that Kurt Hawkins, this is something for him. I'm gonna imagine it's not, but something. I'm good with something. They had me believing for a moment there, but we've already had two guys who are perpetual losers and who never seem to get anything done win a big match. I'm alluding to the B team.
That was definitely interesting. And I'm glad that Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler did not win.
Yeah.
Because when I saw them in the match, I'm like, oh crap, they're gonna win.
To be
And
fair,
it's gonna ruin our BT dreams.
looking at the match like for face value, they were odds-on favorite. But it didn't happen, and that's
Oh, they
important.
got a and the B team won, and they get to go face the tag team champions. So they at least get to do one thing before they get pushed back into obscurity.
Maybe they win.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe Bray turns on Matt and hands them the titles and becomes their leader, pseudo leader, and we have the B team just get to have some fun, lots of fun, while we get to do, and they get to hold the titles, and we get to have fun watching them.
If you're talking about pure fun, just watch the celebration after they won the Battle Royal.
How about any celebration they've had since they started winning?
You bring up a good point. Uh, they're great. I'm solidly behind them. B team, Baron Corbin, Kurt Hawkins. I'm hitching my posts. Do I actually expect them to win? Not really. But do they have a chance? Of course. Dolph Ziggler won the title, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna. I don't know. Is the match official for like a week of Raw? Is it gonna be? It doesn't look like it's Money
I'm
in the
going to
Bank.
guess probably Money in the Bank.
I
But
would
for all
assume
we
so.
know, it could end up being at the Hardy compound.
That'd be real weird to take the B team to the Hardy compound. Not out of the realm of possibility, just real weird. Be interesting to see it. I'll give them that. But we'll see in terms of what we actually. I too expect it to be at Money in the Bank, but I don't believe it is official for Money in the Bank just yet. But that's exactly what we said last week about Seth Rollins versus Elias.
And it's pretty much official now.
Yep. It's booked in, it's on the card, Intercontinental title match, as expected. Elias wins though, right?
I sure hope so. Because Elias is the perfect person to take the title, the Intercontinental title, off of him, and go do something with it, and allow Seth to go do other things such as, I don't know, take the Universal Championship off of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Actually, that's exactly what I expect to happen.
Okay. Is this one of the things we're going to write down and you're going to prophetically say it like 3 months before it actually happens?
Actually, I'm going to say I've been saying this for a while, so
Okay.
so yeah, it's going to be one of those 6 months out type deals.
We're chiseling it into the stone tablet.
Yep.
Seth Rollins takes the title off Brock Lesnar.
At SummerSlam.
SummerSlam specifically.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Dean Ambrose returns and attacks him.
Just about to ask about Dean. Okay, so returning after the match.
Yep.
Okay. And
Cut
Brock
to
Lesnar fades away.
He goes to do a UFC fight. That's
Okay.
why he drops the title.
He's not fighting with the Universal title?
No.
Think
No.
of the
The
money.
plan is for him to drop the title before he goes do a UFC fight.
Talking about UFC fights, everyone's favorite UFC fighter is fighting tomorrow? 2 days from now? This weekend? Yes, this weekend. Sunday for us in New Zealand. Let's see how that goes. We'll talk about that next week. Maybe we get a little
I
more
could
than
care
6
less.
seconds. But maybe he gets his butt kicked again and it's funny to talk about.
Hey, if it is, it is. I'm all for that, but
You couldn't care if he wins, you couldn't care if he loses.
no, I couldn't care if he got knocked out and woke up 3 weeks later. I really don't care. I'm tired of hearing about Punk.
So speaking about CM Punk, what do you think of the lawsuit?
Yeah.
You want to become a lawyer?
I did at one point.
I'm gonna skirt around it. If you haven't heard the news, Punk and Cabana won. And more go towards the wrestling community online. Everybody is a pocket lawyer, it turns out. Wrestler gets involved in a court case and all of a sudden everybody knows everything about law on the internet. It's insane how quickly everybody just gains this knowledge. That's all I have to say. But we're going to flip ourselves all the way back to Raw. And do you want to talk about any other matches that happened to stall everybody over to Money in the Bank?
We can talk about whether or not, I guess, if we consider Natalia injured or not, legitimately.
Do you?
So I have no clue at this point. I thought first it was like an injury storyline, and would then feed into her winning the Money in the Bank ladder match, and then catching it on Ronda the same night. But the way they were acting, I don't know if that was a storyline or not.
It opens up some questions. I don't know. You're right in that the setup for it feels so much like it's just a storyline. But yeah.
But the way Nia was breaking character, I'm not sure. That's what got me so confused.
Yeah. It's hard to tell. I'm going to continue to err on the side of it's a storyline, but we'll see. Money in the Bank is what, 1 more week of content away? 1 more week of content away. So I'm
Yeah, it's
17th.
next. It's Father's Day. It's the 17th.
American Father's Day.
Yeah.
We pick a random different day. I guess we'll know next week though, because if she is truly injured, I'm going to assume they take her out of the match and replace her.
Probably with Bailey, who, incidentally, Corey on SmackDown accidentally put Bailey into the match.
At least that way it continues the Sasha Bailey feud, right? Right?
Right.
Which is, I believe, already the longest stretched out piece of poop. But hey, we'll see what happens with Natalia in the coming weeks. Hopefully she's not injured. I feel like we say that every time something like this comes up, just because injury sucks full stop, no matter who it is. Especially if the plan was for her to have a little bit of a push after cashing in on Rousey. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Anything else on Raw you want to talk about?
Let's see here.
The way I see it is we got the women's division stuff happening. Cool. Strowman Rude. It's just a Money in the Bank lineup. The woman fighting again. That's just stalling out until Money in the Bank. Bobby Lashley does a Sami Zayn thing. We're stalling out until Money in the Bank. And Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, we're stalling out until Money in the Bank. We've been stalling for like 2 weeks now, and we've still got another week of stalling. What combination of men's Money in the Bank competitors haven't fought yet? Book that for next week.
Could have swore they already booked a Fatal 4-Way.
Oh, there we go. That's the solution.
I think they already booked 2 Fatal 4-Ways. Or at least, no, that's on SmackDown. That's SmackDown next week.
No, Raw.
I have no clue.
Raw's headline is 2 Fatal 4-Way matches highlight the final Raw before Money in the Bank.
Alright.
So Raw's got it. Natalia is booked
Yeah.
in that Fatal 4-Way as well.
Yeah, I remember. It was announced on SmackDown, but it was for Raw.
Okay.
Again, something that doesn't make sense, but...
Never question it.
Yeah.
We'll see. Flicking back. Yeah, Roman Jinder's already thing. Yeah, there's nothing other than those 2 Fatal 4-Ways for Raw next week. Which just stalls us further until Money in the Bank. The gap here felt way too long. All of our feuds were like booked in the first week of the gap. And then we're just sitting around. Hey. We should go to SmackDown. We should play AJ Styles' theme. And fly all the way over to SmackDown. Back to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, Grady and Josh. We're on SmackDown side now. What do we got? No surprise to anybody. Stalling until Money in the Bank.
This was definitely all about eventually setting up Cass and Daniel Bryan.
Which is another match we knew was going to happen at Money in the Bank and got made official. I feel like there's a lot of that at the moment. This SmackDown to me highlighted some really cool feuds and matches that we could have, but I think Money in the Bank is starting to get too stacked already to put them on there.
And this SmackDown was also featuring a lot of things that they either haven't done before or hadn't done in a long time. Like the backstage contract signing. Having interviews on the stage.
I would class it as a very good episode, but it is still just, pressing slow fast forward to Money in the Bank. I love the Miz's segments at the moment, honestly, and the New Day. Everything they're doing is perfect.
Mr. Bootyworth.
I just love it full stop. I hope they continue if none of those 4 win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Maybe even if they do, I'm sure they'll find a way. I feel like we got a little more mileage in this, and that these guys could keep going a little while. Then we had Carl Anderson versus Harper, which is just us setting up or continuing to set up the Bludgeon Brothers versus Gallows and Anderson.
And then, that match had already been announced, so it's just further build.
And then we had Asuka versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
Just to prove that Asuka is still Asuka.
Yeah. And then you had like 2/3 of the match that I suggested last week. You had Naomi and Jimmy versus Lana and Aiden. You're almost
Rusev
there.
was busy in the main event.
Almost there. We'll see. And in a way, I'm assuming this is just going to be a nice little mini feud while we're waiting for Rusev to finish up his Money in the Bank stuff. We'll see what happens afterwards. I wouldn't mind it continuing. It's been entertaining to me. I am thoroughly sports entertained. Then, as you said, the Money in the Bank contract signing backstage. Great segment. Just setting up or continuing to build towards the Money in the Bank match. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. Continuing to build the Money in the Bank match. Now, the interview segment backstage with Sin Cara. Another point I want to talk about. Do we think this match is going to be made official for Money in the Bank?
Probably pre-show.
You think pre-show?
Yeah. But it also highlighted something that there's something there for Sin Cara if he just wasn't the fact that he was saddled with the death gimmick known as Sin Cara.
Yeah.
Because Sin Cara can talk, and then of course Vega is Vega, and Vega's awesome.
Yeah.
Some think she needs to be her own person, do a solo singles career, but I say let's get there first.
Yeah.
Let's get Aldo Andreas over. See if we can't get him to where WWE had hoped that Sin Cara himself could have gotten, or a guy I won't say.
Yep.
He's on the same level as CM Punk right now for me.
Yeah,
And
to me, the saddest thing is Sin Cara. And I'll rephrase by saying the saddest thing is Hunico. Just to make it clear, I mean this Sin Cara. To start off with, the Sin Cara character was, like, botched beyond belief. I believe purely due to the man portraying it. And then
yeah,
they had they had some fairly decent feudy matches between Sin Cara and Sin Cara.
let's just go with say Hunico and Mystico, just so we can just so there's no issues. Because Mystico is the original one, and Hunico, of course, is the current one.
And Mystico's the one that screwed everything up forever. And then
calling off a
Hunico's
match because of a hurt finger.
And now Hunico's the one stuck with the character. I would be perfectly fine right now with Hunico to rebuild this character. He's, I believe, done enough. I liked the Lucha Dragons stuff that was done. I've liked the stuff previous, but it's hard to shake the fact that you're still portraying a character that was known for his botches.
And then he's made several botches as well to further the issue.
Yeah. At this point, it's just cursed, right?
Yeah, the gimmick is cursed. I thought they had something when they made him the gangster after he lost his mask, but that didn't go anywhere either.
I know you don't watch New Japan, but I would argue that his henchman, Camacho, has now, like, done more over in New Japan than Hunico did moving to the Sin Cara character in WWE.
Yeah, wouldn't really be that surprised, because all that Hunico's done as in the Sin Cara character is that brief NXT title reign with Kalisto.
So
that's it.
Camacho reverted back to being called Tangaloa, went to New Japan, joined up with his brother, joined up with his father as well for some moments, and they've just sort of dominated the tag team division over in New Japan. I think he's held the IWGP Tag Team Championship 3 times, and the 6-man tag titles 2 times. He's a prominent member of the Bullet Club, if you ignore the whole Kenny, Cody jazz off to the side, the elite stuff. And he's putting on good matches over there, compared to... I don't think we got exposed very much to him in WWE. I think we got a few matches, but it wasn't much. He wasn't exactly doing anything.
Yeah, and as I said, I thought there was something there with them when they were doing that whole thing, but they never got the chance to really shine, which is a statement we say so many times.
Yep. So I don't know. It feels like Hunico got the short end of the stick. Definitely. And then we got Big Cass calling out Daniel Bryan, furthering said feud. I can't say with a straight face that I'm looking forward to this match.
Honestly, every week that passes, I'm falling less and less in love with Big Cass.
Yeah, you might catch up to me one day.
I've been enjoying everything he's been doing, but the last 2 weeks have just really grated on me.
Yeah, it seemed like he was meant to be coming out as this big, dominant guy, big threat, big physical threat. I just can't, man. I can't get behind him. I'm not thoroughly sports entertained. He's the opposite of the MIZ to me. To me, I'm just counting down every week, hoping that this is something different that Daniel Bryan is going to go and do. Hoping that this is something different that maybe can save Cass. Because this Daniel Bryan Cass thing is not doing either of them wonders. The feud is arguably killing Cass, at least in terms of me being entertained by him. And it's holding Daniel Bryan into this feud rather than a million different things he could go and be doing.
Well, as far as that goes, I think we all know where his feud is going. We just know, but it's just that we have to get there, and there had to be a stopgap between it.
It's just a long stopgap when Money in the Bank is like 6 weeks out from the other pay-per-view. That gap is really... It's like a suspension bridge. There's a real dip in the middle. I'm hoping it picks up on the other side. And then main event, New Day, Miz, Samoa Joe, Rusev.
It was a really interesting main event. And the Miz lost all his teammates again.
Poor Miz, really, man.
I really do think he's winning the Money in the Bank.
I'm glad you think that. I cannot bring myself to think that, but I'm glad that somebody does, and that means he has hope. I'm still completely up in the air about who's gonna win Money in the Bank, and I love that. I like that I'm not 100% sure on who's gonna win.
I think I've settled on the fact that it's not. Absolutely, there's no way Braun's winning.
Okay.
He's just way too dominant.
It's kind of his character, though.
Yeah, it fits his character and all that. So that's not that thing. It's just he's got way too much momentum.
Well,
and usually
we'll see who's standing tall the night
person
before.
that wins is somebody who hasn't done a lot in terms of the storylines. At that particular time, he's either getting pinned by everybody or is just not focused on that much.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that it's going to be Rusev.
No.
No love for Rusev?
Rusev's been picking up steam of late.
Damn it, Rusev. The one time that you need to not have steam.
But I think all of the things I just said was it does describe Miz, because Miz has been losing a lot. He's been focused on, but he's more or less been there to be a punching bag.
Yeah.
So I just see him with that Money in the Bank briefcase, and just see him gloating about it, and I just see that that's so perfect. That's the perfect thing. That's what they got to do.
If he does win it, though, is WWE contractually obligated to rehire Alex Riley just to carry it around?
No, I'm sure they could call somebody up from NXT to be the briefcase handler.
To be fair, he had 2 perfect briefcase handlers on Raw.
Yeah, but he's not on Raw anymore.
He's got to find some more. This has made me Google now where Alex Riley is. He's nowhere. There's no news on him, except that he was in one episode of Glow.
Go find the cave Brad Maddox is in. Bring him back and have him hold it.
I would love it. I know we don't normally talk about NXT, but we're running out of time here. I just want to mention one part. Ricochet and Velveteen Dream having an amazing feud at the moment. Loving what they're doing. My favorite part was this week. Ricochet brings up Tough Enough, and he does this whole spiel about how he should be embarrassed because he was eliminated from it. And Velveteen Dream just sits there with a straight face and just says, "The Dream doesn't remember any of this." And I'm like, this is perfect. You're going places, boy. Basically, if you haven't watched...
Everybody knew that Patrick Clark was going to be the star.
He was the winner.
Yeah, he was. He's the Miz of that season.
Yeah. Strap in. If you haven't been paying attention to NXT, go back and at least watch those 2. Even if you're not watching anything else. Although I also have to suggest you watch the women's title feud, because that involves Evie, Dakota Kai. So watch that as well.
Yeah, a year ago I was like, please WWE sign Ricochet so I could have a Kentuckian in WWE.
I
Later,
saw that.
He's in WWE.
That was
Woo!
like a Facebook reminder, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a memory post.
Yeah. Perfect timing. Alright, well, that's all we got time for this week.
Woo!
It's been great talking to you.
Bye-bye.
I remembered the catchphrase this time. If you want to visit our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/WrestlingRradio, or Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRradio. And we'll see you next week with the last week before Money in the Bank.